Oh, thank goodness my mics are omnidirectional, so you don't have to worry about that. They're not omnidirectional, but single, one directional. Uno directional.
One directional.
What's the word? Omnidirectional, so you don't have to worry about that. They're not omnidirectional, but Haley, 2 weeks in a row.
Mr. Father.
Hey, lean up on the mic if you're gonna shit talk me, okay? Just FYI, I've also got a producer here, call her young Haley. Should be like my young Jamie from the Joe Rogan Experience. If anybody listens to that show. We are currently live now, folks. Can everybody hear me okay?
Mm-hmm.
With me?
Checky do.
All right. Checked away. We're going to have us a little fun tonight. So just before we get started, let me do a quick rundown of the topics we're going to be touching on. We're going to be talking about Pussy Hats Gone Wild. We're going to be talking about the unintended consequences of the immigration crisis. We're going to be talking about the Nashville March for Our Rights rally. And, of course, our weekly mystery link, which was a new thing we just started last week. We'll get to that when we get to that. But before we get started, just want to welcome you all to the Unframe of Mind show. I'm your host, Daniel Wagner, and we're here to have uncomfortable conversations without a condom because that's just what we do. I mean, we can make as uncomfortable as you want. I mean, we'll touch each other. We'll awkwardly laugh at each other's jokes and, whatever you want to do, guys. It's up to you. At any rate.
All right.
So,
do it.
Welcoming to the show is a repeat guest, my friend Stacy, the Canadian mooch. I mean, my friend Stacy.
Oh, I'm Canadian right now. I'm not too happy to be Canadian with all this crap that's happening here. So.
Oh, don't worry. We'll be getting to that for sure. and in the second spot here, we got my new friend Brett. He's got a YouTube channel called The Disgruntled Millennial, and I fully recommend checking it out. We'll show you a little bit of his stuff later on. But welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Greetings and salutations.
All right, I've actually got one more guest coming. He's a regular here. His name's Rico, but he's running just a few minutes late. So we'll just go ahead and get on started without him because that's just, his own loss, whatever. At any rate, so before we get into the main topics, I do a section called the Practicing Unsafe section of the show. It's a quick little lightning round. I'm just going to throw a couple questions your guys' way and just give me a quick short answer and we'll move on with the rest of the show. So
who goes first?
It doesn't matter. You all can just jump in whatever order you feel like it. I don't want to. I tried that and I don't like it. Trying to have everybody take their turns. Like, I don't know. It just feels so awkward and it's already an uncomfortable conversation. Why make it more uncomfortable? You know what I mean? What's up, Rico?
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. We can hear you. Good.
Okay, how bad is the noise in here?
It's not bad.
You sure?
Well, if it was bad, I would say it's bad. But I said it's not bad, so.
Oh, now I understand.
Good job.
Dude, sorry, dude. I had to skate over here. I'm sweating and it's windy.
Hey, every time you arrive on the show, you are a sweaty hot mess.
I know. Every time. I know. And I keep saying it's because I'm like arriving late.
And to be honest,
I'm definitely not hanging out with myself.
If I was to expect anybody to show up as a hot mess, it'd be Stacy. But she's looks like
I put clothes on this week.
Right, got clothes on. That's even better.
And my hair is done and my nails are done.
All right, show off.
Not even bad. That's amazing.
All right. So
first, all we got here. I'm sorry.
First question: if you had a magic wand, which politician would you kick out of office first? Oh my God!
Paul Ryan,
so huge.
Paul Ryan, McConnell.
Paul Ryan. Well, I think he's headed out. He's headed out anyway, isn't he?
Yeah. So who would I kick out? You mean Democrat or Republican? I mean, I go for all Democrats generally.
Hey, your choice, man. You get one. You get one.
Oh,
all right.
Don't. God, do I have to?
Yeah. You don't get one party. You get
that's like picking my favorite song. It's just impossible.
Right.
Just one.
Oh, sorry, I didn't know. That's the whole thing. Anyway, good Lord.
I know who I'm kicking out.
Trudeau? Can I guess? Is it Trudeau or is it the mayor you try to talk to today?
No, actually, my first one, if I had the magic wand and it could be anyone, it would be Rodrigo Duterte.
Go on.
Because he's the most offensive, ignorant piece of crap who just murders people for no reason in the Philippines. The first one. It's kind of like, who would you get rid of first, Hitler or Hitler? Like, yeah, you get rid of the person who's the problem.
Right on. What about you, Rico?
Man, you know what? I gotta be honest with you. I guess it's Trump, but I don't want to think left, like at all. Like I couldn't be more hardcore right, but I guess Trump, just because he's making us look so bad.
No way. No way. I love Trump. Trump is my dog. I'm big Trump.
Geez, you can have him.
I'm big Trump.
Yeah.
I was big Ted Cruz, but now I'm big Trump.
Yeah.
Big Trump all the way. Honestly,
because he's not part of the elite.
He's looking good. He's looking good to the right people. He's looking bad to all the wrong people. I think all the people who come out trying to say that he looks bad and he's like doing all the, he's doing all this terrible stuff.
Dude,
for the most part,
freaking porn star. How is that looking good to anybody?
Hey, it looks good.
Well, I'll tell you exactly why it looks good. It looks good because that's all they got on it. Something he did like 10, 15 years ago or something. That's all they've got. Otherwise, he's squeaky clean. Well, I mean, Trump is my dog.
So yeah, I think I'm kind of indifferent to most of it, but I mean, for some guys, they see, oh, you've been, big baller, got all this money, sleeping with all the girls. He's like the alpha male, the alpha dog here. That's what a lot of people are wanting. I'm not saying that's what I want, but I'm saying a lot of people have been looking for that kind of alpha male figurehead, the guy that's going to get in there and like actually do some shit, even despite his flaws. You know what I mean?
I used to be a lot more irritated than I am now. I've grown to love everything about him, even the tweets. I love the tweets, even the tweets, because he's just trolling all the right people. Like he tweets and like the head turn around 360 degrees, like it's The Exorcist or something. And it's just really fun. It's really fun to see because the media, it's like they're basically imploding right in front of our eyes. And it's all over a bunch of tweets, like he tweets and they come out and like, oh, it's the new policy. Not the new policy. He just tweeted. So, yeah. I mean, just by virtue of how
is eating this shit up and they're just like self-imploding, that part, it just fascinates the hell out of me. It opens up the door for guys like us to come in and say, hey, let us be the voice of reason.
Right.
Kids are, Trump and the media over there bickering like, mom and dad who should have been divorced 15 years ago. We look pretty reasonable by comparison at this point.
Okay, can we all just agree that the president isn't at the top of the food chain, that he's just a puppet?
Can we also agree that when we're kicking out a politician, Trump does not qualify, but he's not a politician?
I would agree that
politics in his life.
I would agree that he's got forces working against him. I would agree that he's got forces working against him, and that obviously there are other interests. But I think the idea that he doesn't. Oh, we're going there. Oh, we're going.
Don't be immature, Rico. Come on, man.
Israeli forces.
Come on, man.
I didn't say Israeli. Oh my God, I'm way loud. Yeah, so Wendy's is officially upset.
All right, so let's move on to the next one. The next question. We've only made it through the first question of my short lightning round.
I'm so much louder than I think I am.
Rico, you're fine. It's not.
No, you want to see how not fine I am? They're leaving.
Wait, did they get up and leave because of what you said? Sorry. Or are they just done with their meal?
What? No, I didn't mean to offend any. No, they're really leaving, I think, because of me.
Fuck them. They'll be all right.
But homeboy's trying to get punked with me, I think. Hold on. I'm about to get right.
Oh, this is terrible.
Walk out.
Hey, make sure if you end up having to get up to whoop some ass, that camera gets turned.
Dude, so we can these fucking inbred motherfuckers have no idea. He was like, ooh, I'm walking away, though.
It is so funny that he's doing this over public Wi-Fi. That is excellent.
I know. Wendy's is gonna shut your shit down, dude.
I won't fucking get right.
all right. Let's move on. So this is a little different vein here. What old school cartoon or show would you like to see rebooted?
I was just thinking about this the other day. I would go for either DuckTales or the little ones with the chipmunks.
Yeah.
Working with the DuckTales, or what's the other one? Freaking
Rescue Rangers.
Rescue Rangers.
Rescue Rangers. Yes.
Thank you.
Rescue Rangers.
How the hell did I know this?
Got me, man. This question only came to my mind because I seen somebody was ranting about a possible reboot of Ed, Ed and Eddie from the Cartoon Network years ago, which I don't know that I wouldn't mind that. I don't know that I used to love that show, that and Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo.
But that's cartoons, though. If they were gonna do a reboot, I would just for curiosity's sake, I would want to see Star Trek: The Next Generation reboot, just for curiosity, because I think any reboot would suck, would lobotomize it, but I still want to see it for some reason. I would watch every single. I'd watch every single episode, but I would think that it sucks compared to the original.
Right on. About you, Rico. Any particular shows?
I'm not gonna lie, I did not hear the question. I was so worried I was gonna get beat up.
I just asked what old school cartoon or show would you like to see rebooted, if any?
Oh my God. Am I totally gay if I say He-Man? Oh, can I say gay in here? He-Man.
He-Man. Stupid, dude. That's amazing. I guess we've learned our lesson. We probably don't do shows at a Wendy's next time.
No. I guess I'm way louder than I think I am. Yeah, I am.
If he's gonna skate somewhere, he can skate to here and use my Wi-Fi.
There you go.
Where are you?
Canada, Toronto.
For real, Toronto?
Yeah, well, we have wide open borders, honey. Just come right on in.
Hey, put your snow wheels on that board you got there. You're gonna need them.
Just put chains on the existing wheels. We'll be fine.
Where are you from again?
Put your snow wheels on your board so you can skate up to Toronto.
No, it was 25 degrees today. You don't need snow wheels this time of the year, just in the winter.
Say where you're from again?
Toronto.
Florida.
No, I want her to say it. There's a reason.
Oh.
Why? Because when I say Toronto, it sounds different? Because we don't pronounce the last T in it.
Okay, yes. Thank you.
Yeah,
I was
you guys do that. The rest there isn't a T.
Sorry. Yeah, Toronto.
Yeah, there's no extra T at the end of that.
Right. Yeah,
all
no,
right.
I didn't know that until I was there.
Last question. Next song. All right, so Guy Fawkes, QAnon, and Alex Jones walk into a bar. I'm not even going to pretend that was a question. I just thought that was funny.
That's so good.
All right.
Well,
anyway.
if it's who do I hit first, Alex Jones. For sure.
Say that again?
He said if the question was who do I hit first, it would be Alex Jones.
All right. Well, let's make that the question. Which of those three do you hit first?
Violence is never the answer.
Ooh.
Come on, yes it is.
We got a rebel.
But with that, the rebel. But with that being said,
I learned last week that I've been in more fights than Daniel has. So I figure it's sometimes the answer for me.
So one?
That would be all you would need, yes. All right. So anyway, I'm gonna last weekend, I actually went to go attend the March for Your Rights rally in Nashville. It's a kind of a new thing that's been going on. And Brett here, the disgruntled millennial, he was one of the speakers there, and it had a very impassioned speech he gave, and along with a bunch of other people. And I'd say, what would you say? Maybe 30, 40 people showed up for that?
Probably about that.
About that? Yeah,
I mean, probably about that. It's a small, honest.
Right. So for her to put that together, within, I think it was, she said about 8 weeks before, for her to put that together and have that kind of turnout and those speakers on, that was pretty impressive. I thought it was pretty well done. And at any rate, so I actually wanted to have you on the show today, Brett, so we can, I wanted to hear a little more about what was involved in that process, because I know you were telling me that it wasn't like the easiest process trying to get like the permits and things like that. You mind telling me?
No. Oh, sure, yeah. Well, we got into it thinking, okay, well, you need to have sort of a counter rally. But we didn't want it to be a gun rally. We wanted it to be just a Constitution rally. So, you know, we kind of went out there, put our feelers out. We kind of tried to do a little bit of a similar model by doing events in different cities. So we tried to get as many cities as we could on board, and we quickly realized how difficult it is to get anything done the moment you mention the word freedom. Now, you would think that all these parks, these state parks where people could generally go and gather for free speech, you know, First Amendment type stuff. Most of the time, this is basically what we would get, especially in Florida, because we wanted to do a march or rally in Florida where the Parkland shooting happened. We would get on the phone with people who were who were park officials, and everyone would be very, very accommodating, you know, because they have online, we've got a capacity of 500. And when we get on the phone, they would say, oh, well, we could push that. We could push it to 1,000, maybe even more. And then they would say, well, what is the rally about? What's the event about? And the moment you mention the word freedom, the door shuts in your face. So immediately we started to see that this March for Our Lives thing, you know, because within weeks after the Parkland shooting, there were millions and millions and millions of people gathered. What we ended up finding out, you know, because what the media said was that it was a bunch of these kids who got together and organized together, and these extraordinary kids organized in just a couple of weeks, millions and millions and millions of people across the country. And, these are kids whose most complex thought is conservatives want to paint the walls with the blood of dead children. You know, that's their most...
Wait.
Oh my God.
I like that.
Are you telling me that's not true?
Literally?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
wait,
no.
I mean, wait, hold on. You're blowing my mind right now. You're telling me that's not true?
Well, you know, that's just what we do on certain days of the year, okay? But not every day. I mean, like they say, come on. Give me a break. We're not monsters, okay? Listen.
Not small children, it has to be babies.
All right,
we're not.
Go ahead.
Okay, so
we're not monsters.
All right. So anyway, this is their most complex thought, right? So you would think that these kids wouldn't even be able to handle one lemonade stand, much less a march going across the entire country in every single city with millions and millions of people. So we found out when we had to pull all these permits. The permits were filled out 10 pages by lawyers, and they had to rent cops. They had to create signs. They had to put booths out there. They had to do all kinds of shit. I went to one of these marches just to scope it out, and it's a real big production. If you've ever done any kind of event before, you know that these events are very, very big productions. You have to block city, you have to block off whole entire city blocks. The media came out as though these children had just organized it. And it just turned out that it cost. I mean, I know these Parkland kids are rich, but listen, there's no way they were going to dip into their trust funds to make this happen. Okay, those kids are way too entitled and greedy to dip into their own trust fund. So believe me, there was special interest money going into this March for Our Lives. It was completely fraudulent. It was completely artificial, completely fake. The kids were coached in every way, shape, and form. And
they had makeup trailers.
What?
I said they had makeup trailers and whatnot.
They had. I'm sorry. What?
He was asking if they had like makeup trailers and things like that.
Yeah, of course. Oh yeah, they had all kinds of stuff. Well, there was that one famous picture that went viral of they were taking a picture for a magazine cover, and you could see them celebrating in the outtakes. They were all like smiles and happy faces, but in the picture that they took, they were all crying, and it was all like they were, they were crying and they looked all sad, and that was the picture that obviously went out, but. When on the outtakes, you could see how excited and how like glad they were to be in the limelight. So,
well, I think it actually did come out that Oprah donated a whole pile of money to it, and George Clooney had donated a whole pile of money to it. And I think that they are really the ones that got the shit together for the stages, for the police, for the barricades. For one of them donated all of the water that all of those people were drinking, things like that. I mean, it was donated by big names who could afford it.
George Soros.
Yeah, of course. And it's just funny because, you know, all the speeches were like, oh, the conservative special interests. Oh, it's these special interests. They're killing children. They just want to paint the walls with the blood of dying children. You know, like that was their speeches. And here it is. We're trying to do a counter march, and we can't even get a park. We can't even get a place to meet up because the moment you mention the word freedom or constitution, they shut the door on you. They shut the door right in your face.
Well, it's because you don't have the funding, homeboy.
Right. No, I mean,
well, it's almost like
so
you were to his last 10-minute speech.
You're right.
Well, conservative ideals aren't sexy. I mean, realistically, I think that's what it is.
Say it again. I'm so sorry.
It doesn't photograph well. It doesn't sound nice to the globalists, which is a really big deal right now. I mean, everybody's a globalist. If you're a big name anywhere, it's all about save the children, save the whales, save the freaking trees. You're saving everything now. It's like freaking Captain Save-A-Ho over here. We're trying to save everything.
Well, I'll tell you what. I think these leftists, you know, sometimes they do have.
Quieter. Sorry.
Hey, Rico, if you can't hear us, just listen to it back in the replay, man.
Did you hear what you said?
Yeah.
I just have to eat quieter. I'm gonna get beat up. Go ahead.
Would you tell those people at Wendy's to shut up, please? Just tell them to be a little bit quiet.
I would, but this one, you know,
we're trying to do a professional operation here.
I understand, but it's so much nicer to do a podcast like this with like cute Wendy's employees than not have them. I got nothing. Next song.
No, that was terrible. Anyway, no, I was going to say, I think the leftists do have a real good point. I know they go around talking about how we can't put on the Second Amendment type rallies, and they always shutting you down because of the fact that, you know, guns, as it turns out, actually do kill people. And Brett, you did a fantastic piece on this. I wanted to show, you know, my audience this piece you made, this excellent reporting about how guns actually do kill people.
Yeah. Oh yeah. This one is a doozy.
I was surprised because I've never seen my guns do anything, but this is some pretty damning footage, and I hope it doesn't get out. But go ahead.
Sometimes you have to see to believe.
Yeah, let's play the clip, man.
Tonight on CNN, a gun control advocate was brutally beaten in a violent gun crime.
I was feeding my cat, getting ready to go to an anti-gun protest. Always said that we need more gun control. And I was right. I was brutally attacked within an inch of my life by 3 guns. This is the world conservatives want. They want guns out on the street, running amok, committing crimes. We need to get guns off the street. If it weren't for my cat, I might be dead. Gun control would have prevented this crime.
Sometimes you just have to see it to believe it. I'm a hardcore gun grabber now after seeing that footage.
That shit's legit, dude.
Thanks.
They definitely need to take all the guns because
finally some real journalism from CNN.
Right.
They might be redeemable. They might be redeeming themselves.
That was. I hope you do some more footage like that because that was pretty good. I really enjoyed watching that, and it's actually a video that I saw that helped me discover your channel, and then I found out you're going to the rally I was going to this weekend. I'm like, oh hell yeah, that's cool. Small world and shit.
Yeah.
At any rate.
Yep. So we got a full motion picture on the way.
So just to wrap things up on the rally, as far as the rally went itself, it was pretty peaceful. I mean, we had a couple people come through shaking their heads. You know, they weren't really stopping to listen. But beyond that, I mean, straight up peaceful. Nobody, you know, started a fight. Nobody had any bad words or nothing. It was just a good, you know. I mean, I enjoyed it, and I hope we get to see it again. I think there was talk of doing it every 3 months or so. Is that what I'm to understand?
We're going to be doing different things. We're going to be doing shows, podcasts, little videos. We're going to be doing more rallies. It's going to be kind of a neat grassroots effort to just protect the Constitution.
All right, well, You can get the word out there and build up the momentum from a grassroots standpoint, but it's definitely going to take a lot of people coming together.
And next time I'm doing my speech in rollerblades.
There you go.
Hey, actually, I can't say this joke here. Actually, I'm going to go for it. I don't think it's this. You know what the hardest part about rollerblading is?
Telling your parents that you're gay.
Can you give me a high five on the podcast?
Boom! Boom!
Nice. Did we just become best friends?
I think we just became best friends.
You want to go to the garage and do karate?
Yeah. Hey, you never invited me to go to your garage and do karate, dick.
I'm so loud.
What the hell, man. All right. Well, yeah.
Hate crime. Oh God, hate crime.
Hey, if y'all enjoyed that video, just I've got his links down in the low bar. If y'all want to check that out and subscribe to his channel, he's got some pretty cool stuff. So,
you gotta check out my Vote Donald Trump song. That one's really, really funny.
All right. So,
hey, can I add that you can't get any more right than having a Chick-fil-A cup?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, I'm
no, it's like the only company that's not allowed, like, that gets away with not opening on Sundays.
Well, everybody who eats Chick-fil-A bashes gays, right? Like they eat Chick-fil-A, then they bash gays. That's how it works, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like a pastime sport. I got nothing. I'm kidding.
You can't talk about Chick-fil-A and Wendy's.
Oh, so I was speaking of Chick-fil-A. You're gonna love.
Hey, Wendy's has some delicious.
Hey, Rico, hey, you're gonna love this, Rico. Check this out. I was listening to a podcast, an atheist podcast, and they were trying to come up with different ways that God could kill people that didn't turn up in the Bible. Somebody called in and suggested that they open up Chick-fil-A on Sundays and kill everybody who eats there on that Sunday. And he's like, wait a minute. You wouldn't kill anybody that actually believes. You would kill a bunch of atheists that are excited that they can go to Chick-fil-A on a Sunday.
Right.
Oh man, some people, man.
Dude.
So speaking of some really ridiculous and just crazy shit, I remember, Brett, during your speech, you were talking about pussy hats, and you mentioned. You mentioned the pussy hat phenomena specifically, and that really touched me in kind of a way, because I already had this link.
I'm gonna be lonely the rest of my life.
I already had this link ready to go, so it was like serendipity that this topic should come up. But I wanted you to learn about this, just as I have. There's a pussy hats gone wild is what I'm calling this segment. Before you show this, I want to explain a little bit about this. This has been a government-funded project. He's dying. This is a government-funded project in Toronto, just down the road from where Stacey lives, actually. And
it is a huge source of shame for me.
I need to see. In order to leave you, I'm going to need to see a selfie in front of it. Okay. You need to deliver me a selfie of you in front of this thing.
I don't think I can now because it was part of some winter thing. I'm hoping that it isn't there now.
All right. At any rate, so go ahead and show this thing. This is government funded art project right here.
Oh. Where did it go?
They made an entire like hut. It's a pussy hut.
Okay, you guys understand when you make me laugh that there's no context. They just hear me laughing. They don't know how many people are listening.
They'll be fine. They see you have headphones on. They'll be fine. So
right.
A massive pink 2K Toku.
The word is puke.
Okay, a massive puke. Toronto beat a year after 1,000 protesters donned bright pink hats to protest gender inequality. Dubbed the pussy hat, warm and fuzzy attraction. A critical symbol of women's marches that emerged after last year's inauguration of the U.S. President Donald Trump.
Oh my God.
This is your tax dollars at work, ma'am.
That's where my tax dollars went, folks. That and free healthcare.
Better than NASA.
That just goes to show you that the U.S. isn't the only one that can waste money on pointless projects. No, I don't need that.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
that is children. That is a children's play toy.
I think I just read out of the corner of my eye there that they use 1,200 rolls of yarn to make that thing.
Well, yeah, because what it's on top of, like it's on top of the lifeguard station. Like that's where the lifeguard sits when people are swimming in the beach. So it would feel right over top and around it.
Oh, sorry I couldn't save your life today because I had a giant pink pussy hat in my way, blocking my field of vision.
Yeah, I got stuck in the pussy hat on the way down.
I died in the lake. I died in the lake because of a pussy hat.
In fairness, that was there in the winter time, right? So, I mean, the beach wasn't open. You can't swim here in the winter because the lake freezes over.
The question is, how many more times can we squeeze the word pussy in here without it being dirty?
Dude, I'll give you $1 not to say that word with a combination of hat for the rest of this podcast.
Dude, I got dressed. Like, what the hell?
I can't handle it. Plus, like, seriously, like, you guys are having a great time, but these people are looking at me like I'm fucked.
They think you're crazy. That's
don't get beat up, man. Don't get beat up.
Oh, that's not gonna happen. No, dude turned around. He had 4 dudes with him too.
So, Stacy, this will be a segment kind of specifically around you because I was actually curious.
Daniel, there's a cop car pulling in. I don't know if it's for me.
I'm
not kidding. Hey, just seriously, I'm gone. Like, he's stopping.
If they ask you to leave, just leave. You'll be fine.
No, I will. I'm just letting you know that if I shut my laptop, that's what's up.
We got it. I appreciate you coming anyway.
Oh no, he's just getting nachos, but they don't have nachos here, do they?
They don't have donuts either.
I think it's going through the drive-thru. All right, next song.
All right, thank you. This has been quite an interesting show today, I gotta say. Quite a turn of events. Anyway, no, I was really curious because over the course of the last week or so, we've been messaging back and forth, and you were telling me about how the housing situation there in Toronto has become just a total nightmare. Up to and including even where they're trying to rent out an SUV, a broke down SUV as a potential place to live. What was it, about $450 a month to live in an SUV?
What they wanted was $750.
Oh, that was $750.
It does not drive. It's not roadworthy.
Wait, you have to park your car?
No, that was the house they were trying to rent out. Like
they're trying to rent this broke down SUV as somewhere that you can live because there's literally like 0% vacancy. There's nowhere to live. There aren't free apartments.
And this is the reason I wanted to bring up this particular subject, because this is one of the major unintended consequences of having a bunch of immigrants into your country that aren't really, you don't have the infrastructure to handle. And one of the things that you keep telling me about is like, I'm trying to find a place to live. I've lived here my whole life and I cannot find a place to live. And these people here are getting like preferential treatment up ahead of me. And, just to make good news stories, basically. You want to tell me a little bit?
Pretty frightening. I was actually in the Geared to Income Housing office this afternoon. And I was the only person there who knew what the line was about and knew how the system worked. The guy behind me said I don't know where he was from, but he wasn't from here. He's like, well, I hope I get an apartment today. Dude, I've been on the wait list for 12 years. If you think you're walking out of here with keys today, you've got something else coming. Like, this is just insanity. Because I'm sure he was part of that newest load of people that just arrived. We got a bunch of border crossers that came out from the US.
I know you had sent me an article earlier about that, and I didn't have a chance to read it. I apologize. But what you want to give me a little more about what that was about?
Of all the people that I don't know exactly how many have come over the border thus far, but 40% of Toronto's homeless shelter population is these asylum seekers from the United States. These are the people who are running away from Donald Trump. And they're showing up here, and our country has just opened their borders and opened their legs and said, come on in. So they're here now, and we're providing them health care, and we're providing them what we're like, well, where would you prefer to live? Everybody is like either Toronto, Montreal, or Vancouver. Because where else are you going to live in Canada, right?
Right.
So they put these people from Quebec, where they crossed the border, onto buses and bused them to Toronto. Drop them off here, and it's like there's nowhere for them to live because we already don't have housing for the people who are here. Now all these people are here, and now they're in shelters, and they can't work because they don't have, you know, proper visas and everything. They're still refugee claimants, or trying to claim refugee status. They haven't even gotten asylum yet, so they're really in a transition phase. So they're getting welfare, but they don't have a place to live because there aren't places to live. And we simply don't have like the actual available spots. Like, I don't know what we're going to do with them. But what they did do today, our mayor waved his arms in the air and screamed for help. And what they're going to do when the universities are done for the year, I think they are now, they're putting these people up in the residences. So tax dollars are paying for that, for these people to live in the residences. They're getting a per diem for food and to do their laundry, and so they can buy more clothes because they came over with the clothes in their back in a bag, right? And, you know, the kids need formula and diapers, they need ass wipe, they need all these things, and our government's paying for it. And these people aren't citizens, so they're not paying any taxes, they don't have any jobs, so they're not contributing at all.
So what do you think should happen to them?
Why do you think we kicked them out? Just saying. Look, you know what? This is the problem with socialism. Ultimately, this is the problem with socialism because
that's what I said. They just kept walking till they found free healthcare.
Right. You go where it's, you know,
so they kept coming here.
The water's gonna flow in the path of least resistance, and that seems to be the path for them at this particular moment. They're not going to go to some other country that they came from. They're going to go to the next country in line that they can get free benefits from. And I mean, I don't blame them. I would do the same thing.
You know, the same thing happens. Same exact thing happens in Europe, where they, you know, like they'll leave Syria, they'll jump into Italy, and then they'll bounce around from European country to European country to find the best goodies and the best healthcare, and then it's a humanitarian crisis.
Yeah, we already got the Syrians. Our government still has some of them that they're paying for from a year ago when they immigrated them here. Right. They're still paying them a per diem in other hotels downtown.
What we need to do is
they still haven't found places to live.
So they're able to live in a nice hotel room or even a half-assed hotel room, and you're living in a place where you said you can't even lift your arms above your head because it's like,
yeah,
what's it?
Exactly, because the roof is so low.
Tucked behind a damn boiler. Like,
you want to get rid of them? Spoil the milk. You know, spoil the milk.
What do you mean by that?
Is that a metaphor?
From the government teat. Yeah, the government teat is just
gotcha.
Providing everything for everybody. Spoil the milk. Cut it off.
No, what
I knew that was a metaphor, but your emotions. You want? Can I buy you dinner?
We're trying to. Right now, we have a liberal province in Ontario, and we have a liberal country. So what we're hoping for on June 7th, we elect for the province. We're aiming for a progressive conservative, so which is conservative government. So that's basically the guy we've got running. He's a dick from way back. His brother used to be the mayor of Toronto, and they screwed everything. They cut all the monies back. They cut the bus routes. They cut everything. It was horrible. But he's the guy now who is running to run the province, and everybody hears tax breaks. And tax breaks sound awesome. We're going to pay less taxes. Well, we're going to get less services too. But at this rate, that is what we need to do in order to fix what the Liberals did. Because they just went far and away with, oh, free for you, free for you, free for you. And, oh, you don't even want this crap, but it's free anyways. And they just
get a car.
So like pre-socialism.
You get a car.
Exactly.
Oprah
so
socialism.
Like, you get dental care. You get a chiropractor.
Look under your seat,
but dude, you know, like
there's a free place to stay under your chair.
Yeah,
right,
exactly.
No, I know, but to people that have had a hard time, it's hard not to say yes, which is like the goal of the elite. You know, like that's why socialism sells, because you put people down.
I'm a fine one to talk in that regard. I mean,
so
I understand the whole concept of socialism and social healthcare, especially. I've been lucky in that regard. It saved my life. I mean,
I'm not trying to sell it. I was being sarcastic.
Let me.
But it also might have put your life in danger in the first place. That's what they do. They drown you, and then they save you, and then they make you thank them for saving you when they caused the problem that caused you for it to be a life-saving thing in the first place. Like if they didn't take away they didn't take away all this money and screw up the whole medical business and tinker with the infrastructure, healthcare services would be cheap enough for most people to get. The reason why it's so expensive is because the socialism comes in there and it says everything for everybody. And instead of creating new services and new housing and all this stuff, they start redistributing the old stuff to people who didn't pay for it. And nobody has any incentive to join the business, to join the workforce and actually create stuff,
and
like create new housing.
And maybe in the free market scenario that the businesses would have, or the people who are going to go build the houses would have seen this problem coming and been able to make accordingly. Now, so here's the perfect metaphor that I was thinking about for you, Stacy. I thought about this earlier today, and it seems like because you're benefiting from this insofar as you're getting the great health care that you're needing. But at the same time, it's also got you stuck there where you can't go anywhere else. And so you have to just sit there and watch all. Here's the metaphor. The metaphor is you took the cheese out of the mousetrap. The mousetrap's got you around the neck. It hasn't killed you yet, but it's got you around the neck right now.
Well, listen, in 1984, sorry.
Is that a pretty fair metaphor for what you have going on right now?
Well, I think that it's bigger than that. I think it's bigger than the way you're explaining it. I mean, the problem that I have is what I need for healthcare is in this city. So I have to stay here because I can't drive. So if I could drive, I could live in a bedroom town outside of Toronto. But because I don't drive, I need to be able to get to appointments. I need to be here. So it's a pile of other things all added in that make this is where I'm stuck. But I can't blame that on the healthcare, and I can't blame that on, I mean, this is just me. The rest of my family, a couple of them are half dead, and they live in other cities. But they can get the care that they need there.
Right.
Well, look, listen, I hate to be that guy that brings up George Orwell in 1984, but the whole point is to make us dependent on the states. We need them. You know what? I wish my first instinct was not to bring it up, but I did it.
No, that's right. Except you know what? A good one to bring up right now. A good one to bring up is Atlas Shrugged too. Same exact message, but a little less used.
Right. No, I know. I get how cliche that is at this point. But dude, 1984 couldn't be more real right now. Like it's.
I'm literally in the middle of reading it right now.
What?
I said I'm literally in the middle of reading it right now, and it's scary how much of
I know.
Like it's like he could not have read a better predictor of the future if he'd have tried.
Well, you know what? Actually, you know what? This is that fringe that you tell me not to go into, so I'm not. But
I've never told you. I have never told you not to go.
Actually, you know what? I'll show you the text. You were like, "Hey, this one night you can let your freak flag show."
That's not the same.
Not to let it show. So you know what? Next song. Listen. You want someone else that's so prophetic that it drives me nuts is Philip K. Dick. All his books right now. You know who he is?
No.
A Scanner Darkly.
I've heard of that. Is that a movie?
Oh yeah, I've seen that movie.
Oh, he wrote that. He wrote what the Matrix is based on. Like, and he died the year I was born, 1977, and it couldn't. Like, a lot of people, conspiracy theorists, are calling it predictive programming, but this guy just laid out where we are to the point where it's almost like he had a mirror or a crystal ball. It's just insane. Like 1984. Next song.
All right.
I'm so sorry.
Yeah, that.
No, I'm just saying it's pretty like surreal. Oh, and A Brave New World too. That's another book like right now. Like A Brave New World.
Have you seen Soylent Green?
Say it again.
Have you seen Soylent Green?
Oh no, I haven't. But a lot of people have brought it up.
Yeah,
lately.
you need to. Every time I have a smoothie in the morning, I'm thinking, yeah, I'm having a baby smoothie. Every morning, that's the first thing I think of when I mix my smoothie.
Yeah, I don't get the reference, but I'm sure. Like, no, well, read A Brave New World; it'll blow your mind.
All right. At the risk of getting too far off track, I just wanted to bring it back to the concept of this particular segment. Is again the unintended consequences of the immigration crisis, and it's this was just Stacy's story here is one of many unintended consequences when you sit there and try to, as a government, try to manipulate shit and bring people in and try to save people from themselves and things like that. It's just you get so many different effects that you can never possibly plan for. I mean, some of them most people with a half a brain can see it coming from a mile away, but there's a bunch of littler, smaller things that the free market's not equipped to deal with and can't deal with, different changes that fast. And it's like, what are we doing here, people?
Well, for years, though, there's been developers who wanted to build for rental units, to build for the city rentals. There's been people who want to build, but the problem is it's the city itself. It's funny because on every sign that says, Toronto, this is this stupid park, whatever, any city of Toronto, anything, it's called a city within a park. That's what they call Toronto. There's parks everywhere. We've got miles and miles and miles of green shit that's no good to anybody. But we have all these people who don't have a home, and we have all these goddamn parks that are more important than the people.
So you're saying like the federal people own more land than people?
No. It's the city owns the large portion of it, and then the province owns some of it. But it's owned by, it's like all crown land. It's all government property. So It's like you have all these humans who don't have a home, and you have all of this grass. What the fuck good is the grass? If we were all cows, then we could eat it. But we're not. We are human beings. We need to put people into houses on that property. Build tall so you have lots of people.
And those homeless people can't stay there with a permit either, right?
Well, no, but that's where they sleep now. They hang out in the parks or in the bus shelters.
So they can?
They'll sleep on the grates where the subway goes over, or goes under, rather, because the heat comes out of the subway.
Absolutely.
They'll sleep in the wintertime. Like the experienced ones get the subway grate in the summer.
That almost sounds like an upgrade from your apartment, doesn't it? That's a little bit of an upgrade from your apartment. I said this is a little bit of an upgrade from your apartment, isn't it?
A little bit. We have some bus shelters that are bigger than my apartment.
Oh Jesus!
I would actually contend that the immigration issue is more of an intended byproduct of socialism and this globalist kind of move to make just one world government and to intermingle all the different countries with diversity and all this stuff. I'm all about diversity, but only when it's copacetic for everyone. You can't force it.
Look at it this way. When you sit there and look back and you see
that's just neo-Marxism. That's not. I'm sorry.
When you look back and see this giant movement to get women in the workplace, and made women feel like they're total shit for staying at home and taking care of the kids, and you break apart the family, thus getting more taxpayers, and now the families aren't actually trying to have any babies anymore because they can't afford it, because now both people have to freaking work just to pay the bills to keep up with the rising taxes, and eventually you come to a problem where when you've got this right now, what is it? It's like there's 2.4 or something like that working people to each one retired person in the U.S. right now, and you need at least, I think it's about 3 just to make be able to cover their expenses, and there's no money there waiting behind. There's no money, and there's no workers because people haven't been having the babies. So what you have to do is end up bringing in a bunch of immigrants to replace the population, so you can say you got a labor force now, and you got to get more tax money from them and somehow collect money from them. Like it's this whole ball.
Well, and then now imagine that Trump's giving you all free healthcare and dental. I mean, that's what's happening here. We need to take in 10 times more immigrants to get the tax dollars.
It's this entire snowball of shit that started, way back. But everybody wants to look back at the last 2 years and say, "Oh, Trump did it. Obama did it. Bush. I hate Bush." No, this has been a multi-generational, multi-decade issue that's been slowly rolling out of control, and now we're getting ready to hit a tipping point. And I have a strong feeling the U.S. dollar is fixing to collapse because you can't cover the expenses anymore.
Absolutely. You know what? I guarantee you it's going to collapse because the petrodollar is collapsing.
Yeah, that's already done.
What I mean is not. Oh, I'm so loud. Some other countries are going to stop trading with the U.S. dollar as the petrodollar. China and Russia, right?
That's part of it. Is countries trying to get off the gold standard for sure. At any rate, so before we run out of time, I want to bring up the mystery link of the week. I just started this segment last week, and I'm still looking for a good title for it. And the idea is I'm going to have my friend Anthony Trewick from Tennessee. Tennessee for families. Sorry.
Oh, hey, by the way, if he's listening, he's a sweetheart, and I would go good for him.
This dude does some great work. So if you want to help somebody out doing some great groundwork, ground root.
I'm in the Wendy's.
Anyway, so this little segment's brought to you by Tennessee for Families, and this is a mystery link. I have not seen this link. We take great care to make sure I don't even get to read the headline or anything. So you guys, it's fresh to you, it's fresh to me, and we're just gonna go ahead and click it and see what it says. And come up here. You got to put it on my screen over here.
Yeah, I actually heard the kid screech that time.
That was a good one. All right, so NHL player Brad stops licking opponents on league's orders.
Well done.
How bad? Scroll down a little more. Let me. On the Tampa Bay, not that far. My producer I need to fire her.
Is it your daughter? It's your daughter, isn't it? Your daughter's your producer, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, you're not gonna find somebody who take the page you take, buddy.
That's why you don't shit where you eat.
Defeated
some hero.
Boston Bruins to head the NHL Eastern Conference Finals, and nobody licked anybody. This was not guaranteed. Bruins left.
How does that even fit?
And is famously antagonistic and annoying, earning the unofficial title of the biggest pest in the NHL, a label his team has embraced. But his new strategy earned some ire off the ice, and the National Hockey League stepped into order Marquand to knock it off. Like,
dude, if I would have known there was that much licking in hockey, I would have been there a long time ago.
How many? That's to step in and say, dude, you got to get your licking under control. Stop it. That's funny. That's a good link right there. We don't need to see a video. It's fine. And anyway,
you got a good producer.
Right. Nah, that was pretty good. What? Okay. It goes on. Quote, I thought he wanted to cuddle, end quote. Marquand told reporters after the game, tongue in cheek. Quote, I was trying to get close to, to be honest, this sounds like some shit that I would do. Like this, just so stupid. I can't tell you how many times me and my brother were in the middle of a Walmart humping each other just because it's fucking.
You have a brother? Dude, you so seem like an only child.
I am the oldest of 6.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah, my mom has one kid that's younger than my youngest kid.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's trippy.
Prolific.
Yeah. For the kids.
She knows how to get down, dude. She knows how to get down.
Catholic or Baptist, right?
No, just horny.
That's dude, that's gross. I'm sorry. That's a mental picture I never ever needed.
So your general thesis is your mom's just horny.
That was priceless.
Oh, he needs to do this from the Wendy's every week. He really does.
Oh, you dumbass.
Oh yes, this has to happen from somebody who's going to a restaurant each week to do.
Yeah, each week Rico goes out on location to a different Wi-Fi hotspot.
Can you guys imagine it like out of context too? Like,
right.
No one's hearing anything but like their family and like some nachos. Why don't I think they have nachos? Nuggets, and then they hear that.
All right, I think that's a good moment to wrap up on. So if
I need to bow out, guys. I love you guys, but I gotta go.
If y'all enjoyed
well, thanks for taking the big risk to do that from there.
Right, no shit. Somebody's got to take the hits. And
hey, it's not face. I'm sorry.
Somebody's got to
Yep.
All right. So if y'all enjoyed this and you want to see some more, make sure you hit subscribe. And if you want to be a guest on the show, head over to unframeofmind.com and hit the big button that says "Be my guest" and just tell me what you want to talk about, and we'll make it happen. Also, if you want to support the show, head on over to unframeofmind.com/support to help the show. And if you want to connect with any of these fine people here, their links are below in the description. So
that's what I was going to say. If you guys, I'm really going to pack up and get out of here. Add me on Facebook or whatever. You guys seem great. And thanks for having me. I'm sorry I was so dysfunctional.
I'm going to be on Twitter, so you'll have to find me there.
No, I'm there. I don't look at it a lot, but I'm there.
All right.